นะเมจิเดงก็มีปัญหาไหมไม่โอเคนะอย่าทำพิจารณาร่างกายกันไปนะทำเตรียมจิตด้วยนะทำให้จิตมันนิ่งนะถึงไม่อยากออกเมื่อไม่อยากออกนะออกนะเมื่ออยากออกไม่ให้ออกไม่อยากออกให้ทำพิจารณาก็ให้อยู่กับสมาธิเมื่อไม่อยากออกจากสมาธิก็ทำพิจารณานะยังไม่เย็นเท่าไหร่ดูชายที่สวยดูหญิงที่สวยมันไม่มีอะไรหรอกไม่ได้สวยเนาะสวยแต่น้ำนั่นแหละแต่ของเรายังติดอยู่กับความสวยความงามไม่เตรียมจิตมีปัญหาไหมมีคำถามไหมยังไม่มีโอเคมันมีก็มันโอกาสมีสองโอกาสนะตอนเช้าฉันเสร็จนะถามได้ถามปัญหาได้ก็มามีประชุมที่นี้นะแต่ส่วนมากก็ประชุมไม่ต้องมาเมื่อไม่อยากมานะเมื่ออยากเดินจงกรมก็เดินจงกรมนะเมื่อนั่งสมาธิก็นั่งสมาธินอกจากเป็นประชุมที่ศาลานะเป็นก็ใครอยากสวดก็สวดสินะต้องสวดตอนเช้าตอนเย็นนะสวดมนต์เคยทำแต่กับหลวงพ่อทำสวดมนต์นี้ก็จะสติปัญญาก็จะไปอีกมันก็ดีของเราก็สวดมนต์ได้2 อาทิตย์นะอาจจะพรรษานี้จะทำทุกอาทิตย์นะวันพระเดี๋ยวจะคิดก่อนแล้วพระเข้าใจที่พูดไหมสวดมนต์ตอนเช้าสวดมนต์ตอนเย็นทุกวันทำในกุฏิตัวเองตื่นขึ้นมาสวดมนต์ได้เลยนะแล้วก่อนเวลาอาบน้ำเสร็จแล้วก็สวดมนต์ตอนเย็นทำให้ใจมันสงบด้วยสวดมนต์ มันไม่จิตไม่ฟุ้งซ่านมันอยู่กันสวดบางคนก็สวดมันเยอะเพื่อจิตให้มันสงบแล้วสงบแล้วมันจะนั่งสมาธิหรือพิจารณาร่างกายอุปการเทพก็มีคำถามไหมไม่มีอรหันต์ดีไหมอรหันต์ดีไหมมันจิตมันเบาไหมร่างกายเบาๆโอเคเดี๋ยวก็วันหนึ่งก็จะเช็คดูเลยคนที่อดอาหารก็อาจจะไม่อาจจะอดอาหารเพื่อนอนนะ ลงตาก็ไปดูทุกวันนะพระที่อดอาหารนะดูทุกวันนะกุฏิไหนนะและบางทีก็มันไม่เห็นเดินจงกรมก็ไม่เห็นนั่งสมาธิเปิดดูโอ้ยนั่งนอนทำไมเมื่อชับ3 ครั้งนะออกจากวัดเลย
ไล่เลยใช่ไหมหลวงพ่อ
ฮะ
ไล่เลยใช่ไหม
ไล่เลยอยากนอนก็นอนที่อื่นก็ได้นะไม่ต้องอยู่ที่วัดนี่ที่วัดเป็นนักภาวนา So you understand something? Huh? It's also, it's also for you. It is essential. I mean, I talked about it last time. It's essential that you learn the Thai language. Yeah, here you're in Thailand. Yeah, I mean you have to learn it. Yeah. Just because your teacher is not Thai, that doesn't mean that you can pass on learning the Thai language. Yeah? It's very important. Yeah. When we live in Thailand, I mean we need to be able to speak the language. Don't have to learn it perfectly, but you have to understand what is said. Yeah? Even in the morning. Yeah? Sometimes I talk to the Thai, and then I use the Thai language. Yeah? And you should also be able to understand it. We are so old, we don't want to learn another language. Yeah? I mean, when I was 38, when I learned Thai. And you're still younger, much younger than 38. So it shouldn't be a big problem. Yeah? Learning another language. Yeah? And Thorsten, when you want to ordain, it's also, yeah.
Who is teaching you?
Huh?
Who actually she helps you to
Yeah, okay.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, learning Thai, you have to have somebody, a native Thai, who teaches you the pronunciation, and the different tones. Yeah. The grammar is very simple. There's hardly any grammar. Yeah. So what is the teaching of the Lord Buddha? The Lord Buddha teaches the 4 Noble Truths. The first Noble Truth is the one that most of us really don't understand. It is the truth of dukkha. Dukkha, what means it? It's dissatisfaction, dis-ease, discomfort. It is pain, it is suffering. It's all that. It's a container for all these unpleasant things. And if you don't understand, dukkha, if you don't understand this noble truth of dukkha, then we don't have so much motivation, to get to the end of dukkha. I mean, we only feel the dukkha, when it really is crushing down on us, and that's why, a lot of people in the West translated dukkha as suffering, not too many people are suffering, but everybody has dukkha, When one understands, that even the devas, the heavenly beings have dukkha, how is that possible? Yeah? We think, I'm in the heavenly realm, most of the time it is bliss, but they still have dukkha. Yeah? We as human beings, and that's why the Lord Buddha called it, the human beings is the jumping board out of dukkha, yeah? Is because we can have dukkha and sukha. Yeah? Sukha is the opposite, happy feelings, pleasant feelings, yeah? Popokan. That means, we have it, we can have it equally, yeah. We can have 50% of sukha, we can have 50% of dukkha, but we still have dukkha. We have at least 50% of dukkha, and most of us have 90% dukkha, yeah, and 10% sukha. Yeah. But even this 10% sukha, people feel very comfortable. Yeah. They realize, how much dukkha they have, yeah, because they never look. Yeah. They don't look, when they get up. Yeah? They don't want to get up. That is already a form of dukkha. Yeah? When we are hungry, that is the dukkha of the body. When we are hungry, it's a form of dukkha. It's uncomfortable. Yeah? And we don't realize it because, we are born with this kind of dukkha, so we think, it is normal. Yeah? And we have our ways, to avoid it. Yeah? When we are thirsty, we drink something, but thirst, is a form of dukkha. Yeah? When we can't stay in the same position, the body can't stay in the same position, and we move, it is a form of dukkha. But we don't realize it, and that is the problem. We don't see. Yeah? We don't see this kind of dukkha in our lives. And that's why we don't have really motivation to get out. Yeah? Because most people really do not suffer. Some do suffer, yeah, and they have a real strong motivation to get out of the suffering, yeah. But once the suffering is gone, they stop because they feel comfortable again, yeah. So to understand the first noble truth is really to evaluate our daily life, yeah. And here we have the full opportunity because we have nothing else to do, yeah. What do we have to do? In the morning, we go, and sweep a little bit around the sala and then eat something, and then we go back to our kuti. Yeah? In the afternoon, we sweep, we clean our kuti and sweep around the kuti and sweep the paths here and clean the monastery. Yeah? That's all our task, in this. Yeah? In this form of life. Yeah? So there's little to do, and most of the time, we have to. We have to look, what the heart is doing. So we can see, these forms of dukkha. We can see it much more clearly than people in the world, because in the world, they follow their thoughts. I have to earn some money, then they have to earn some money, Of course, that is some sort of dukkha, but they don't think about the daily dukkha that we have. And here we have the opportunity to see it much more clearly. Yeah? For instance, the dukkha of the body. Yeah? When it's tired, it is really a form of dukkha. Yeah? We want to sleep, and we can't really concentrate anymore. We can't keep our attention on anything, and we want to sleep. Yeah? It's a form of dukkha. And in our worldly life, we don't notice them because we have ways, to get rid of it. Yeah, when we are tired, we go to sleep. When we are hungry, we eat. When we are thirsty, we drink. Yeah. And when we need to go to the toilet, that's also a form of the dukkha. Yeah. Then we go to the toilet and relieve ourselves. Yeah. So we don't see that as form of dukkha. Yeah? And then all these little things, that is all physical dukkha. And then we have all this mental dukkha. Yeah? We see something that we don't want to see, it's a form of dukkha. We are parted with something that we like to see, or we like to hear, or we like to think, yeah? And that is also a form of dukkha. Yeah? And there comes in the second noble truth, yeah? The origin of dukkha. The origin of dukkha is wanting to be something, wanting to become something, or not wanting to be something, or not wanting to become something. Yeah? Or the origin of dukkha is also being parted from what we love, yeah, and meeting the things that we don't want to meet. Yeah? That is the origin of dukkha. And we have lots of this, yeah, going on daily, day in, day out. Yeah? Even here in the monastery. Yeah? It's not all that we all like the people who are here around, you know. Sometimes, you know, we get aggravated, you know, by one person's behavior. Yeah? It's a form of dukkha. Yeah? But the dukkha arises in our heart. It has nothing to do with the other person. Yeah? And that is something that we have to learn. The third noble truth is just that there is an end of dukkha. Yeah? And the fourth noble truth is that what we normally practice here. It is the way that leads to the end of dukkha. And that is sila, samadhi, panya. Sila are the 5 precepts. Yeah? Not harming any living being, not taking what is not given, yeah? No sexual misconduct, yeah? That means faithful in one's marriage, yeah? Not having sex with people who are dependent on us, yeah? Or not having sex with animals. That's all called sexual misconduct. Yeah? Then no lies, no harsh speech, no criticism, yeah? That hurts other people. That's the 4th precept. And the 5th, no alcohol, no drugs. Yeah? Everything that makes us unmindful. And here, yeah, when we live in the monastery, we have 8 precepts. Yeah? The sexual misconduct is changed into no sexual conduct. Yeah? And then not sleeping on high beds, yeah? Not listening to music and not using perfumes, yeah? Or wearing ornaments, yeah? Not watching shows, and not eating after noon. And here in this monastery, we only eat once a day. Yeah? I mean, there are monasteries where you eat before noon, yeah, where you eat twice a day. Yeah? But our monastery, you know, eats only once a day. Yeah? And it's enough for this kind of climate. It is more than enough. Yeah? You don't feel stuffed. Yeah? And the moment you feel stuffed, I mean, you get tired and you want to sleep, yeah, or you want to rest. Yeah? So these are the 5 precepts, or the 8 precepts that we keep here in the monastery. It's a basis for our practice. Yeah? The second part is, you know, samadhi. Yeah? The training of samadhi and the training of sati. Samadhi is concentration. Sati is the awareness that arises through the concentration on the object that we concentrate on. It's the awareness of the object. Yeah? When we are training samadhi with the breath at the tip of the nose, then we observe the breath, how it comes in, how it goes out, how long it is, you know, if it is deep or if it is, you know, short, if it is rough or if it is subtle. Yeah? That is developing sati, awareness of how the object that we are concentrating on is. Yeah? With the Buddha, it's the same thing. Yeah? The Buddha doesn't have a specific point. You know, the point of concentration is the Buddha. Yeah? So we know, is the Buddha fast, is it slow, is it deep, is it shallow, and so on. Yeah? And we don't only observe it, you know, one time in the beginning of our meditation, sondern we want to know every time. You know, there is a Buddha, we want to know there is the Buddha or there is no Buddha. When there is no Buddha, we bring it back. Yeah? We bring back and repeat Buddha. Yeah? It's the same with the breath. We want to know, you know, whenever the mind goes out, we bring it back to the tip of the nose. That's our point of concentration. And we want to know if it is the in-breath or the out-breath, you know, if it's the middle of the in-breath or if it is changing from the in-breath to the out-breath, and so on, and so on. That is developing sati. And sati is important. It is extremely important. It is the flashlight, you know, that we can use to shine in our heart, to see all the things that are in our heart. Yeah? It is just like a flashlight that you use in a dark cellar. I mean, if you don't have a flashlight, or if the flashlight is weak, you know, you stumble across this, you stumble across that, and you're going to curse because, I mean, you didn't see it. Yeah? And even, you know, if the flashlight is not really bright enough, you don't see what it is, yeah, what you stumbled across, yeah. And that's why development of sati is so important. And the brighter sati is, the brighter this awareness is, the more we see. Yeah? And the easier it is, yeah, because this sati, this awareness, is objective. It doesn't like this or dislike that. It just knows this is this and this is that. Yeah? That is the sati. Yeah? And sati is important. We cannot only, use meditation, to get calm. We need to develop the sati, this awareness of how the breath, how the object of concentration is. Yeah? When we do that, and we pull the mind back, and that is a very tedious task. And we have to be extremely patient, always, no matter how often the mind goes out. We don't get angry, we just pull it back. It won't stay still, even if you decide it should stay still, it won't stay still because that's not the way it works. It's just like, remember, I always compare, learning how to meditate, learning how to walk. If we can remember when we learned how to walk, we tried to get up, and we fell over. And then we didn't sit down and said, told our mommy, I can't walk. We tried it again, And how long did we, how long did we train it? 1.5 years. But not only, no 1 hour or 2 hours a day. We trained it, all day long. We got up, fell over, hit ourselves, hurt ourselves. Once the hurt or pain was gone, we tried it again. And we tried it again. And that is exactly, how we should view the training of meditation. We will not be successful, within 1 day or 2 days or even 10 days, We might be successful after 1 year or 2 years or maybe 5 years, But the length of being able to stay with the Buddha or stay with the breath, just like, and just like the child, is able, to stay after 1 week for a second or 2 seconds, and then for 3 seconds and 4 seconds, and then for a minute or for 2 minutes, and once it can stay, it learns how to walk, So, we really have to realize that this is nothing, that comes on its own, It's a very tedious training. And we shouldn't, get get deterred, when the mind constantly goes out. All what we do is we bring it back. The mind goes out, okay, bring it back. Okay, bring it back. And if that's a whole day, we just bring it back. And sooner or later, it will stay still. And sometimes it stays still for a minute, or sometimes it stays still for 5 minutes. But the longer we train it, the longer it will stay. But it will come out eventually. And that is just a training. So don't get deterred from your practice just because it doesn't work on the first or few days. Just bring it back. And the more patience you have, the easier it is actually, to make it stick. So that is the training of samadhi. And the last part is panya. Panya, it's wisdom. The training of wisdom. All our life we trained not wisdom, we trained knowledge. We have lots of knowledge and we have little wisdom. Wisdom is understanding. And understanding is something that we cannot force. We cannot just, read about this, read about that, and then force an understanding. That is the understanding of the world. It has its value. But in practice, we want to understand who we are, what we are, and what we are not. So we investigate 5 things that we believe we are. We believe, first of all, that we are this body. The second thing that we believe that we are our feelings. Both of these things stick very close to us. The next thing is we believe we are our thoughts and ideas, or we are our memories. These are four of the khandhas, or four of the groups that we believe it is us. And the last group is the group of consciousness. So we have to investigate and see that these things appear and disappear on its own accord. And this is something that we have to understand. And we have to understand it by looking at it, and looking at it, and looking at it, until we understand, until the heart understands. We all know, if the mind understands, an action is not good, the heart still wants to do it. We can force ourselves not to do it, but the wish or the desire still comes up to do it. Once we show the heart, and that's exactly, the way of wisdom, once we show the heart that what it does is really, very painful or very unsatisfactory, then the heart lets go. We cannot teach the heart to let go. But we can show the heart that what it does is unhealthy or is it's not satisfying. It's unsatisfactory. And once the heart that understands that, it lets go. Then we don't have that desire to do it anymore. The desire doesn't creep up anymore. And that's the difference between knowledge. We know something is not good, but our heart still wants to do it. We know going against the 5 precepts, it's not really a good thing, but the heart still wants to do it. Until we show him the effects of going against the 5 precepts, and then it understands that's really not a good thing. It's not a logical understanding, it's not a logical explanation. It's an understanding that takes place in the heart, and it's called insight. Seeing inside the nature. And that is a very, very different thing from the way we are used to learn in our worldly life. We are used to learn to study this, develop this, or interfere this, or interfere that. And that's why we gain new knowledge and new ideas and things like that, but it never solves our problems. The heart is the only thing that can solve our problems, but the heart is blind. Because it can't see. Because the thoughts, ideas, are in front of the heart, blocking the heart to be able to see it. So when we look at things, our mind has to be empty. It cannot be occupied with thoughts and ideas and memories. It has to look at one thing, and that's where we train what we train in samadhi. So when we look at the body, then later on, when we investigate the body, we have to look at the body just in the same way as we look at, for instance, the Buddha, or we look at the breath. That's a body, And then just stay with the word body, 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 until the body, turns up in our internal eyes. And then we can ask certain questions. What is the nature of the body? What is a body? Is it the fingers is the body, or is it the head the body, or is it the brain the body? And then we have to listen, we have to ask the heart, these questions. And what happens at the beginning of our investigation is that the kilesas are coming up with answers through our thoughts. And these answers are never true. They can be close to the truth, but they are never true. And with this, we're blocking the inside of the heart. So we have to be open-minded, And whatever answer comes up, through thoughts or through memories, is wrong, So we have to go back, and ask the question again, Until the answer comes in through knowing, And through knowing, I give you an example, your parents teach you, that fire is hot and you shouldn't touch it. You know that. You know it, but you haven't experienced it. And you will likely, go, because in the beginning it is warm and you will go closer until you burn yourself. Once you burn yourself, nobody can tell you that this fire doesn't burn. You know it from inside. The whole world can say, no, fire is not burning, but you know it. And that is called experience or insight. Yeah? And this kind of insight will relieve us from all our wrong views. Yeah? And once we are relieved from our wrong views, the more we are relieved, the less problems we have with this world. Yeah? So, is that understood? Yeah? Just a short talk for introduction, yeah? Huh? Andrea already has problems with sitting. While she was sitting in the plane for 11 hours. Did you meditate? No. Not like some of my monks, in the moment they go into a car, they fall asleep after 5 minutes. So you have any questions?
If I have, I want to be something.
Yeah.
I don't admit it, but after a while, people show me and I think it's true. But for all the life, I covered everything to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't have problem. For my childhood was perfect. And
Yeah.
Because I want to be something.
Yeah.
I want to be. So how to overcome this one and to be
Yeah.
to get so I can be student.
That, see,
To be teacher.
that's exactly, what I was talking about. If we want to become something, we can't get rid of this idea, yeah? We have to see first, we have to investigate ourselves. Who are we? Huh? And through this investigation, we know that we are not these thoughts, that are coming like clouds and are disappearing. Ideas are coming like clouds and disappearing. They have nothing, there's something in there that observes a thought arising, and the thought sees a thought, a memory arising. And now, the subject cannot be the object. We know that, yeah? If you observe another person, you are not this person. But why do we say, if we observe a thought, then we say, I'm this thought? When we observe a feeling, then we say, I'm this feeling. That is something that we have to learn. Yeah? And through that, the more we learn, the more we understand, the less the desire becomes to become something. Yeah? Because there's no point of becoming something. Yeah? Because this becoming something, like everything, we build a house, or we build a job, or we build, we build university, a doctorate or something like that. It all falls away. Huh? Like everything, a house that we build in 50 years, it's gone. It decays. Yeah, a car that we build, in 10 years nowadays. It used to be 25 years. We have to throw it away because it doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
But not in the heart.
No. That's why we need to go to the heart to show the heart. Yeah? And that's why we have to first learn how to get rid of the thoughts and get rid of the memories. Yeah? And you will see, getting rid of the thoughts, get rid of the memories, gets also rid of the desires. Because then we are happy. The moment thoughts and memories stop. There's no future, there's no past, and there's just happiness. Yeah? Or peacefulness, or stillness. Yeah? In that moment, in this very short moment, in the beginning, we don't wish for anything. So, you see, this wish only comes because there is a form of dukkha. Yeah? And we don't see this form of dukkha. Yeah? When, for instance, you see somebody and you want to talk. Why do you want to talk? Because of a form of dukkha that comes before. Why do we want, why do we want to read a book, or why do we want to watch TV? Because of a form of dukkha, dissatisfaction. That's why I said in the beginning, it is so important to understand our dissatisfaction, daily dissatisfaction, that is there in the heart, yeah? And then get the motivation to find a way out. And the Fourth Noble Truth teaches us how to find out. First of all, to keeping the 5 precepts or 8 precepts when you're here in the monastery, yeah? And then slowly, training the mind not to think. Yeah? And you will realize the moment the mind stops thinking, yeah, and there can be quite a fear to it, when we stop thinking, we suddenly don't exist anymore. Yeah? I mean, you know this card, I'm probably you read it, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. When I don't think, I am not there anymore. And that's exactly the experience that we have. But we feel relieved once we are there. But before we reach that state, we are afraid that we get lost, yeah? And certainly something is lost, yeah? But the rest that remains, it's just a world, it's just a different kind of experience. It's the experience, of pure experience without anybody commenting what kind of experience it is. So that's where we actually, for the first time in our life, we live. Yeah? Normally we live in our thoughts, huh? Yeah? And we create all these images, how the world is, how our friends are, how our wife is, or how our kids are, or how the work is. We create it in our head, yeah? But actually we don't know how it is. Because we have never looked with our thoughts. Huh? You understand? A bit. And that's what we have to train first, yeah? We cannot solve these problems immediately, yeah? These problems, we can solve once we have a tool. Just like, you can't fix a car if you don't have the right tools. So, what you do first, when the car breaks down, I mean, you get a set of tools that you need to fix the car with, yeah? And that's what we have to develop first. We first have to develop the tools, yeah? And then we can use the tools, to fix the car, yeah? Or to fix the mind or the heart, yeah? Yeah? Okay? Ja?
Darf ich auf Deutsch fragen?
Ja?
Das ist ja mein Problem mit die Angst. Meine Ängste und Fürchte kommen ja durch dieses Denken.
Ja?
Und habe jetzt tatsächlich periodenweise hingekriegt, dass, wie Sie sagen, nicht einzusteigen. Aber was ich dann verrückt finde, ist, dass dann bei mir zumindest kommt, wenn ich dann in so einem guten Zustand bin, wirklich peaceful, also man staunt oder ich staune, dass es möglich war, ist, dann kommt was, wo ich dann meine, andere bedienen zu müssen. Dann bin ich so.
Nein, da bist du ja schon wieder raus.
Ja, aber warum?
Ja, wir kommen immer wieder raus. Wir können nicht für ewig da drin bleiben.
Warum nicht? Müsste es gehen? Man muss eigentlich nur loslassen.
Was? Ja, deswegen brauchst du ja die Weisheit, um diese Dinge, die da ständig da hochkommen, mit Weisheit zu entfernen, durchzuschneiden. Ja? Samadhi ist ja nur eine Kurzform der Ruhe, damit wir sehen, es gibt was anderes. Und dann, wenn wir rauskommen, dann sehen wir alles, was uns da bombardiert. Ja? Und dann benutzen wir die Weisheit, indem wir den Körper untersuchen. Haben wir den Körper richtig untersucht, dann sind die Probleme schon mal minimal. Dadurch, dass wir den Körper untersuchen, wir gehen nicht an das Problem. We don't attack the problem that we think we have. We undermine the basis of the problem. Yeah? We investigate the base of the problem. And the base of the problem is, for greed and hate, for the desire to come up so strongly, is the body. So if we undermine the power of the body, all the problems of our desires will disappear. And that is something that we can't really fathom, because we really want to solve a problem. Yeah? And how do we solve a problem with thinking? And has it ever worked? No. And that's what we don't want to realize, that it actually never works. Yeah? How we can solve a problem is by action or by speech. Yeah? Or by non-action, or by non-speech. Yeah? And our upbringing, is so contrary to the Dhamma. Yeah? And that's why we still try it, and it is fine, but just realize, okay, I'm trying to solve a problem with thoughts, has it ever, and then we ask ourselves, has it ever worked, yeah? And through this question, we question our approach to these problems, yeah? And the more we question it, and the less it comes up. The less this mechanism, because it's just a conditioning, yeah? It's just a habit, yeah? We acquire these habits, to solve the problems in this way or that way or that way, or to deal with this situation in this way or that way. It's all conditioning, yeah? Freedom is when we are unconditioned. Yeah? So we can react to any situation always differently. Yeah? We don't have to have. Yeah? Because we are afraid, of being confronted with a situation that we don't know how to deal with it. That's what our mind tells us. Yeah? But actually, when we are open-minded, when we don't have any thought, and we see a situation, we already know how to deal with it. Yeah? And that is something, where we really have to reprogram ourselves, or in meditative sense, we have to unprogram ourselves. Yeah? We have to get all these if-then-else conditions out. Yeah? So just accept these things that are coming up and say, okay, I'm not interested. Yeah? If you think you have to help a person, not interested. Yeah? Especially if this person is not around you and lying on the door and crying for help. Yeah? If it is around you and lying for help, then it's a different matter. Yeah? But if it's far away, I have to help this person, 20 or 200 kilometers away. Useless. Yeah?
Aber da habe ich eine große Frage, die mit diesem Konzept von Mitgefühl zu tun hat. Das finde ich im Moment so schwierig, weil man kriegt ja als Buddhist auch das reingedonnert, dass man Mitgefühl haben soll.
Ja.
Und also, bei mir führt es dazu, dass ich völlig verblöde, weil ich dann nämlich genau nicht verblöden ist falsch Wort, ich springe auf sowas unheimlich schnell an.
Everybody.
Everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
In our society, especially in the West, compassion, your compassionlessness is something, that we all react very, very heavily on. Yeah? But do we really have compassion? Nobody, even if the people, even if the activists, who look after other people, yeah? They really don't have that compassion, that true compassion. Yeah? Because the true compassion is in our heart. Yeah? All what we would have to dig is to dig it up free so that it's there. Yeah? We don't have to produce it, we don't have to make it, because it's a quality of the heart. Compassion, yeah? Feeling for somebody. Yeah? How can you not feel for somebody, if your heart is empty? Yeah? What normally is happening is, it's a false kind of compassion. Oh, I'm in this, I feel so sorry for this person. No, we don't feel sorry for that person. We feel sorry for ourselves because we imagine to be in that situation. We don't care about this person. We don't even know what it really needs. We just see ourselves, we imagine ourselves being in this situation, and then we start to cry. That's not compassion. That's self-pity. Yeah? Compassion would be, for instance, if a person cries, yeah, and he needs this cry, yeah. Normally, if a person, cries, in front of an arahant, he let it cry, yeah. And he is not affected by this cry, because he knows this person needs to cry it out, and then things are getting, less emotional, yeah, and then he can talk, yeah. But we can't, we can't let a person cry because, it affects us so much, But it's us, who reacts to that, That's not a compassion. That's self-pity, yeah. We want to make it, we want to make that person stop crying. Because we don't like it, yeah?
Und wir wollen, jetzt kommt das Buddhistische mit rein, wir wollen halt das Ding abgeben von jemand, der oder die...
Yeah, but that is your personal thing.
Aber ich denke, also ich weiß das von vielen Buddhisten, die dann...
Yeah, I mean, it...
Kalt oder in Anführungsstrichen kalt zu bleiben.
Wie was?
Die das nicht aushalten, dann nicht irgendwie ein nach außen hin mitgefühlsmäßige Aktion zu machen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people normally, expect of us, if we see somebody, I mean, to show empathy for this person, yeah? To do something, to stop that misery of the person, but we can't stop that misery of the person. We can't even stop our own misery, yeah? I mean, just be cool, yeah? That doesn't mean you have no feelings. Of course you have feelings, yeah? I mean, the person who has complete compassion is somebody who has no kilesas in his heart, yeah? I mean, he accepts every person, yeah? We only accept the person that we like. We only have compassion for the person that we actually like, yeah? I mean, you don't have compassion, for your murderer. And he needs much more compassion than anybody else, because he doesn't know what he's doing. Huh? I mean, if we dislike somebody, we have hate for them. If we like somebody, we have some sort of, love, for that person, yeah? So we want to do something for that person, yeah? But for the person that we hate, we don't want to do anything. We wish him to hell, yeah? And that's not compassion, right? Compassion is feeling, yeah, what is going on in the other person. And we cannot feel what is going on in the other person if we are affected and think ourselves, being in the same situation. Yeah? But if we don't have any thoughts, if we don't have any memories, and look at a person, that is crying or is in a miserable state, yeah, then we can help that person. So don't, I mean, it is, I know society, is really pressuring us, yeah? But it is, it's self-pity all the time. We only think about, we are so egotistical, yeah? We only think about ourselves. We only think about ourselves, how do we look, in the eyes of others? Yeah? And if our group, consists of people who have a lot of empathy, and then we don't react, then we look bad in their eyes, and then, I mean, just be yourself, yeah? And that's what we learn here, be ourselves, and then we are much more, yeah? Much more compassionate than anybody else, yeah? But that is something we have to learn. We have to dig it up. Because, I mean, our heart, is closed off, through our thoughts, through our imagination. It hasn't had, any sunshine, yeah? So we don't really know what is in the core of our heart, yeah? And there's endless, yeah, compassion or joy with others, yeah? We can be really so happy with others when they are good, yeah? Where is your joy with others? Huh? Have you seen it somewhere? Yeah? Do we really feel joy if other people are happy? No, most of the time we feel envy. Yeah? That is also, it is a quality of our heart. But we have shoved it down, And now it's only, it's only a mirror. It's a mirror of, what we think is empathy, what we think is compassion, what we think is, being happy with others, yeah? Or what we think is equanimity, yeah? That's not equanimity, it's not, joy with others, yeah? Or mudita, the Pali words, mudita, karuna, yeah? So that is one of the biggest problems, Don't care. At the moment of training, don't care what other people are saying. Just always, refer to your own heart. What are you feeling here? That is the most important thing. What are you feeling here? Yeah? Don't think what other people see in you. Yeah? Because, people can look at me, and some people think he's a holy person, others think he's a bag full of shit. Whatever people want to see in me, what does it have to do with me? Yeah? You remembered, the normally, what is the idiom that I use, the analogy that I use, yeah? There is a tree, there's a beautiful tree in the forest, yeah? One person comes and sees this tree, and he's a sculptor. So he sees his Madonna already in this tree, yeah? Another is a carpenter, and he sees, the beam for his house in this tree, yeah? Another, he's cold, and he sees the firewood in his tree. What has it to do with the tree, what other people see in you, yeah? They see what they want to see, yeah? And that depends on their characteristic tendency. So if he's a sculptor, he sees the Madonna in you and wants to sculpt you, yeah? Another person, he just doesn't like your looks, and he hates you. Just like somebody, who stumbles across in the forest, and hits his head against this tree, he cuts it down. He's so hateful against this tree, yeah? So, what does it have to do with the tree? The tree is the tree, yeah? Whatever people see in this tree, is always different. And that's what we should have experienced in our life as human beings, that people see different things in us. And neither this side is good, nor that side is good. It's a mixture of all of these things, yeah? So let people, you can't change the mind of other people, yeah? You can change the mind of what you think about other people, yeah? You can only change yourself. You can't change other people. And that is one of, our biggest problems, yeah? We want to change other people, to see it in a certain way, to view the world in a certain way, or to live in a certain way. Let them live, yeah? And, work on yourself. Yeah? And you will see over the time, there will be a reaction, yeah? Because once a compassion comes out from your heart, people will notice it without actually seeing it. They will feel it, yeah? And they will react to it in a way that you can't even imagine, yeah? Because it's a true compassion. They will follow you around, yeah? Just like these stupid people are following me around. They don't leave me alone, yeah? I would love to be alone, but the people are constantly coming, yeah? And I don't make them coming, I actually try to deter them from coming, yeah? It's a thing, you can't even describe and you can't make up, yeah? Because it's something, that's the quality of any heart, yeah? It's not the quality of one person, it's not my quality, it's the quality of any heart, yeah? That has been, scrubbed, and cleaned, so that it shines, yeah? Okay? I know it's difficult, but, don't worry about it, just worry about, am I with my Buddha or am I not with my Buddha, yeah? Am I with my breath or am I not with my breath, yeah? And the things will fall into place, you have to trust that, yeah?
One of the most difficult situations, I think, is together with parents, for example.
Of course!
Because
That is the testing ground.
yeah, but the same, also this Buddhist idea of love your parents is so difficult, because then
What is love? You have an idea about what love is. Yeah, be kind, be grateful to your parent. All these things, we have ideas what is, yeah? It is, we created these forms that we call, love, yeah? And it is like a vase, yeah? We put a flower in, yeah? But this vase, has no contents. But the form, for us, okay, this is love, this is compassion, this is this, so we go for the form. If we see this form, we think this is love. If we see that form, we think it's compassion. If we see that form, we think it's hate. If we see this form, we think, it's that or that or that. Yeah? The contents itself, yeah? The moment we develop this content, it will create a form. But this form is not, it's not definable. Yeah? And don't, if you're in the beginning of your practice, don't try it. Yeah? It's the most difficult task, to be able to live with one's parents, because the parents see exactly their own replica within you. And you see your own replica within their parents. And you see all the dislikes, yeah, that are within your heart, you project it on your parents, yeah? And the parents, of course, project it onto you, yeah? And they know you for long, so they know all the things. Yeah? So it's the most difficult thing. Yeah? We can get along with friends, we've known for 20 years, but getting along with our parents, is the most difficult thing. Yeah? Because they know us from very little on, they know our moods, they know our ways, they know our ways of acting, they know our way of defiance, they know it all, yeah? Because they have educated us for 20 years. Yeah? So how would they not know? Don't try to solve problems, try to make the heart calm, and let it, yeah? Through calming the heart and through starting investigation, the things will, yeah, you have to destroy the basis of all these wrong ideas, wrong views, and the basis for that is the body, yeah. If you go through, with the investigation of the bodies, you have no problem in this world or in other worlds, yeah, with nobody, yeah. You still have some problems, with your ideas, and things like that, yeah. But the basis for that is not the body. Yeah? And that is a complete different approach, yeah. And that's what probably most of the people don't understand. They want to solve a problem, and they think, meditation solves the problem, and then they think about the problem. No, we cut the base of the problem, and then the problem, once the base is gone, once a flower pot, where the flower is in, we destroy the pot, the flower dries out by itself, it cannot survive, because it doesn't have the pot to keep, to keep it wet. Huh?
Aber dann gibt es keine Blume mehr, das ist auch blöd. Also das verstehe ich wirklich manchmal nicht, weil sie werden...
Weil du überlegst. Ja? Ja, die Basis für deine Unruhe, für deine Angst und so weiter ist der Körper. Ja, und wenn du den Körper zerstörst, dann kommt keine Angst mehr hoch.
Dann ist doch aber auch kein Körper mehr da.
Du störst die Idee über den Körper. You just destroy the idea about, this body. Yeah? You don't destroy, otherwise, killing oneself is the only solution. That's not the solution, because you go to hell. Yeah? We don't destroy the body, we destroy the idea, yeah, about the body, that it is something nice, that it's something comfortable, that it is, yeah, that it is beautiful or ugly, and we destroy the idea about this body. And with this destroying the idea about this body, we destroy the basis for all our desires, for our body, for this comfortable life. If you think about a nice hotel room, it's always desire about the body. If you think about lots of money, it's desire for the body, because we can't buy anything, that is mentally, that fills our heart. It's only for, big yacht or whatever, or big car, it's always the desire for the body, yeah. Once we understand, the body actually doesn't need a lot, all our needs are gone, yeah? All the desires are gone. And also the fear, the fear is gone, that somebody is harming us, yeah? Because it cannot harm us, it can harm the body. But then we have understood that we are not the body. Yeah? It's just like, people are afraid, especially if they have a very expensive car, and they sit in their car, and then some hooligans come, with a key and scratch along. I mean, they get really angry, they get really pissed, What has it to do with them? I mean, they are still safe in the car. But they associate, they identify with this car, and that's why they get angry and so upset, yeah? And we identify with this body, and then if somebody, harms our body in any kind of way, yeah, I mean, we get upset. Once we understand it's only a body, just like a car, you get out, and walk away, and don't care about the body anymore. Yeah? And so that's how we get in the next life, yeah? Don't think, stay with the Buddha, okay? So, enough. Huh? Looking at me again? You want to steal my wisdom, huh? You can't steal it.